Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Tech Team Toronto's channel, where today we are going to be building a website on Plesk and setting that all up. It's going to be a WordPress-based site, and we're going to do it on our host, and we're going to get it going. So, welcome back to the channel, and let's get it started. So, let's get with it. And it opens these URLs really quick. Got him. Definitely not the greatest at playing this game, but I have fun. That's all that matters. Ouch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a WordPress site setup on a demo shared hosting account. You could visit us on these sites. Before we continue, make sure you guys are coughing up the likes. The likes are important. They help with the channel and the algorithm and everything like that. If I take the time to put this video together, I would think it would be fair that you could actually take the time to click the like button, which would take like 0.2 seconds. It's no big deal. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be setting up a simple WordPress site on a affordable shared hosting plan. WordPress was founded in May 27, 2003 by Matt Mullenweg and Mike Little, who forked the abandoned blogging platform B2 Cafe Log to create a more robust open source content management system. It quickly evolved from a simple blogging tool into a comprehensive platform powering over 40% of all websites. I personally like to use it because it's flexible, it's secure as I can make it, and robust, and it's and it's very it's easy to work with. I've worked with it for years myself. Um, so first thing we have to do is we have to have a domain name chosen and a paid hosting plan. Also have a cheat sheet that keeps all the passwords for the site. Before I go on, you could go to my site, prwdigital.us. If this is something that you don't even want to touch, I'll do it for you. So you go there and check it out. And we'll have more information in the link below at techteamtronics.net. The first steps that are important, and all steps are important, is first we need to purchase the host if not already done so. I already have the host, so we're going to just blow over that step. We're going to purchase the domain name. Domain names are paid annually. Then we're going to go in and we're going to change the name servers to the host name servers that are provided by your host for the DNS to work properly. And then we're going to enter a new domain name into the domain section of the host control panel. We're going to install WordPress. We're going to update the PHP version, check and update the PHP version to make sure that it is correct so the website functions properly. That's kind of like the underlying language that the website functions by. Then we're going to install the free HTTPS certificate that comes with the host. We're going to install WordPress website theme. Then we're going to install the security plugins. And then we're going to install other plugins. And then we're going to set up like an email address. Okay. All right. So step one, if you haven't already done so, purchase the web hosting package. The web hosting package is essentially the uh, the computer that holds the site and helps it to function and everything like that. The web hosting types range from affordable and beginner friendly options to high performance dedicated infrastructure. The main types include shared, VPS, dedicated, and cloud hosting, which differ in cost, speed, and management level. Um, Now, after that hosting package is done, you're going to need a domain. And I almost want to say, you know, this is how you do it. You'd almost want to get the domain first if you don't already have the host. And if you have the host, you could go ahead and get the domain. Um, so basically, I'm in my Namecheap thing, and I'm going to buy this domain name for the demo. Um, So I'm going to check out and everything like that. It's going to give you the subtotal with the icon fee and such. It's a really good deal. You know what I mean? I look for domain names that are a good deal, and you get the domain name privacy and all that, which is very important. Um, I took the auto renew off because I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to. I don't know if I'm going to use it next year, so I kind of like to manually do that. But you could do what you want with that as far as with your concern, with your finances and stuff, for your business and stuff like that. Um, and also, all right. So before we go on, let's see here. Change the name servers in the registrars to the name servers provided by your hosting package. A domain name server DNS acts as a phone book of the internet, translating human readable domain names, for example, .com, into computer readable IP addresses 192.0.2.1. It allows users to access websites without remembering complex numeric addresses, routing browser requests to the correct server. That's very important, and it's very handy. And that's what you want. You want simplicity. So you could easily it's easy to remember an example.com, and then as opposed to a number. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you click that like button. Keep us going here. All right. So this is how it's done. You go into your registrar. You go custom DMS. They have different. They call it slightly different things in different ones. And then I keep a note of what the name servers are in my spreadsheet cheat sheet, so I could be organized and get this process done as quickly as possible. You see that the name servers are there. And then what I'm going to do is, once I check them, I'm going to save that. And then it's going to take you, they'll say it could take up to 48 hours to propagate and all that, but it usually propagates a lot quicker. Um, Let me go back here. So once it propagates, you're cool. Okay. All right. Then we're going to do step 4, which is basically we're going to enter the domain name into the domain section of the control panel. There should be an area of the host that allows you to add, modify, or delete domains. It is usually one of the first things you see in your hosting control panel. Note that the control panel we will be using today is Plesk. It is robust, it's powerful, it's user friendly. Whatever one you use does the same thing. It manages websites. So with that, we'll go on. So I'm going to click add a domain, right? And it's going to take you to a screen, and Plesk is set up this time to give you the option to install whatever you want on it, as far as what's available. And today we're just going to do a simple install of WordPress to facilitate the operation of the site. But you have all these different options, which I'm going to be playing around with as an alternative to WordPress, just to see what's out there. And then you're going to enter the domain name. So we're going to take that domain name that we got at the registrar. We're going to enter it there. And then we're going to select just different things. You know what I mean? I like to check over the settings, and I usually do none as a preferred domain. So you add domain, it's going to add domain, configure a DNS zone, create the physical hosting, configuring PHP. Now we're going to talk about installing the WordPress. Okay. Um, There should be an area of your control panel that deals with the software that is installed on the site. It allows you to install software with one click as opposed to uploading the files manually and configuring them as required. It's a great time saver and it's a good software. And a great time saver is a good software menu. You know what I mean? So, additionally, WordPress is robust. It's open source content management system. So, that's what we'll be using today. Make sure you click the like button. All right. So when you go there, you go to the installation path. If you leave the installation directory blank, it'll just install it to the default directory of your site. Um, and you name the website title so that it shows up in WordPress. They give you a few themes to start with, but we're just going to use whatever comes with it because we're going to change that later. And we always try to stick to the latest version of WordPress. And then you put your administrator information in there. And then since I'm taking that name, I'm going to take that name and I'm going to put it on my cheat sheet because if you forget that, that's one piece of data that you don't have to get you into the sheet. And then I got to do something with the password, make a very strong password for the entry into the admin panel of WordPress. And then we have the automatic update settings. I prefer to do all the major auto updates. So I'm going to select that. You know what I mean? So it updates the site while I sleep. And that's it, you know? So it's going to do its thing. It's going to secure the website, apply update policies, and it tells you what it's doing. I like Plus. Plus is one of my favorite tools for managing websites. Okay. Now, we're going to take a minute here to talk about updating PHP. Um, right off the bat, like it'll probably load you in with a old and outdated PHP version. PHP is a hypertext preprocessor. It's a widely used open source server side scripting language designed specifically for web development to create dynamic and interactive websites. It runs on the server embedded directly within the HTML, allowing developers to generate dynamic page content, manage databases, and handle user data efficiently. So it's very important stuff. So you want to be using the latest PHP version that you can, and it'll tell you like it's using 8.30 at this time. That is out. 8.030 is outdated at this time. So what I like to do is I like to go to like say I should have went for 8.30, but it doesn't matter in this case. 8.30.30 or whatever that would have worked. Um, But from periodically, you got to also update the PHP and make sure it doesn't break your site. If you have the wrong PHP version, it'll basically break your site, and you'll have to go back and fix the PHP to get your site working again. I've seen that happen. I've done that before. It's crazy. Um, so in step 6, we're going to install the free HTTPS certificate that comes with the free host. An HTTPS certificate, also known as the SSL TLS certificate, is a digital document installed on a web server that enables secure encrypted communication between a user's browser and the website. It verifies a website's authenticity, protects sensitive data, passwords, and credit card payment information from interception, and displays a padlock icon in the browser. Okay. So that's very important. You know, what I mean, you got to have your trusted site indicators. You know, um, so what we're going to do is use the free certificate that comes with the hosting deal that I have, and they'll sell you the other ones. But if you click through the screens carefully, or look through the screens, you will find that you will find the free one at the bottom. So I like to use Wildcard. They want to sell you, which has its benefits, but I'm gonna go for the install. You can upload a certificate if you have one, and then it allows you to have a few options. You want to secure the Wildcard domain, apply send certificate to the mail domain because I got to use it for mail, and then you get it free, no cost. That's the beauty of this deal here. Great stuff. You know what I mean? Also, make sure you're clicking the like button, and any further information on this video will be included in the information section of this video. All right, so we're issuing a SSL TLS certificate for that domain. You're going to It's going to walk you through what it's doing, creating the records and such, the text record, TXT type record. And then it's going to take you further through the process. And it's still a process. It takes a little bit, doesn't take too long at all. And then your sites are secure. You click install finally, and then you have your certificates in place. Um, and this is very important because you sometimes you can't get to the domain if you don't install the certificate. Now, step 7 will be install WordPress website theme. By default, WordPress installs a plain theme. There are many companies that make themes for WordPress. They also have upsells with more features. Many have free version and many with paid upgrades. You should be able to get your site up and running with a good theme at no extra cost. That's why I do it. Be sure to remove any unused themes as they could become a security vulnerability to the site. Okay, that's important. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through it. All right, so we're in WordPress for that new site that I just built. This is the dashboard. We got everything secure. Uh, so one of the first things I like to do is get a nice go to the post, you know what I mean? Delete the hello world post that comes with it. And this is how you do it. You click bulk actions, move the trash, and apply. Then you sign no post fine. Some sites I have no post. Categories, you could add a category, which I started to, but I find that just changing the uncategorized uh, to the appropriate category works. Although you can't delete that, you can edit it, and any post that you come up with will default to that category. And then you got the sample page, and these are your pages, and you can edit these pages, add pages, delete pages, and put the pages in the trash and stuff like that. Uh, I'm gonna take out the trash on this one. I'm gonna delete that draft policy there, and I'm gonna add some later. But I really don't have to do that for this because this is just more of a test site. Now we're gonna do the themes. Here we are at the themes. All right, so I'm gonna go with the Ocean WP theme. So what I'm gonna do is search for it in the search themes, and then I'm gonna install it. It appears to be a theme that is good for running a store on. So I wanted to check it out. So you install it, then you activate it, and it'll tell you new theme activated, this, that, and the other, and you get and then you go through, and I like to go through and delete these other themes that come with it because if they reside on your host, they're going to need updating too. Some of them might not necessarily update, and that becomes a problem. Okay. All right. So now we're going to install what we call what are the security plugins, and this is important because um, let me go back here. The security plugins are very important because without the security plugins, your site is vulnerable. And there are many different security plugins that you could use. Website security is essential to protect against cyber attacks that can steal sensitive customer data, destroy brand reputation, cause significant financial loss, and lead to business closure. WordPress security plugins are essential tools designed to protect websites from threats like malware, brute force attacks, SQL injections, offering features like web application firewalls, malicious traffic blocking, and file scanning. So this is very important stuff, and you have to have it. Okay, so installing a plugin is pretty simple. First thing I do is I go in and I delete the unnecessary plugins that I'm not going to use, and I like to, I make a note of the plugins that I'm going to install. So I'm going to start with the limit login attempts. What this does is basically anytime someone tries to log in more than 3 times, or then it's gonna lock up the login, so they can't log in for like 20 minutes or so. I actually locked myself out of a site earlier today and I had to wait 20 minutes, and then I actually ended up not even trying to log into it. I went on to something else, but so we're going to add another plugin. This is another layer of security. Beyond your password and login, they use two-factor authentication helps, because then that's three pieces that they need. They need your phone and that app to get in. That's what the importance of that is. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to configure these security plugins to make sure that my stuff is all secure and ready to go. Um, so that's what we're going to get ready to do here. So I go to user settings to set it up. It's like this. You could scan that QR code with your app on your phone. Like I use the Google app that you can, and then you, you enable it on this particular plugin and you save changes. Different plugins for this function may function slightly differently, but it's pretty much the same process. And make sure you're clicking the like button. The like button helps. I appreciate it. Thank you to those that do so. I don't know what I'd do without you. And then we're going to continue installing plugins. WP Ghost Lite is a really good one that I like. It really alters the appearance of the layout of the site, making it a little bit more difficult for someone on the outside to get in that shouldn't really be there. And it has a bunch of functions that you get without having to go pro, if you will. So what you do here is you activate later, which I never do, but I mean, you could activate later. Enable the light mode. Continue. It's going to configure the paths and all that stuff. I choose no CMS simulation. And then it gives you an alternative login area. And you do the test to see if it loads properly. And then you do a login test, and it takes you right to the login form and such. And that's that. And in the log, so it passed that test. So in that case, we're going to say yes, it's working on this, and then we're going to save our work. But I like to go through and do all the little bitty options that they have, and save as I go to the different pages. You know what I mean? You got all these different settings and everything, and they tell you what it exactly is, which is really good. So I really like the layout of this particular plugin, and and I like to set them up a certain way so that we are fully secure and everything's secure. This is crucial because just WordPress by itself is not enough. Um, that's the key here. Um, Now we could talk about API security. Um, I don't really mess with the defaults on the API security in case I want to run an API, advanced programming interface thing. Um, and then you could do security checks. There's so many things to it. They even offer 2FA login, and so which I'm going to investigate myself to see if that's one less plugin that I'd have to install. And then you go in, and then what we are is we are at the settings where we could like change the time, the way it looks at the time, everything. We want to say that the week starts on Sunday. That's just typical. And then I'm gonna go down to writing, and this is in general. And I don't really mess with this part, but then we do the reading. I like to. This is how you do a static page instead of like the post page, and then I'll set the post feeds to include excerpts instead of full text to say space on the page. You can change the amount of items, amount of blog pages to show it the most. And then I like to go through these settings and say users must be registered and logged into comment. That helps prevent comment spam and things like that. And I get emails for if anybody in a comment must be manually approved. I had so much comment spam back in the day, it was ridiculous. So I tell you that I get no comment spam the way that I set it up now. All right, then I set up the post structure to include the domain and the post name to keep it simple. It likes to do the post name and date and all that crazy stuff, but we're going to keep it simple. And then you could do a privacy policy page, but I have a plugin for that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to install the other plugins that are necessary to run the site the way you want for your business to operate. This is important. It customizes. It's a great, powerful thing to allow you to customize what you have going. WordPress plugins are a package of software code that serve as an add-on to extend the functionality and features of WordPress website. They function much like apps on a smartphone, allowing users to customize their site without needing to write or edit complex code. Hey, I'm glad that these folks write this complex code because it makes my life a lot easier for sure. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna basically just install a cache. A cache basically speeds up how your page loads by saving parts of your site. So when somebody comes to it and comes to it again or whatever, it's already preloaded from time to make the whole process more efficient. So, and with this plugin, WP Ghost, anytime you get a new plugin installed, you have to click add new plugin or something to that effect and let it do its thing. So I'm going to turn on the caching and update status, and then that would be that. And in the process of installing the different plugins that I use. This WP Worker is a site management tool. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video. I'm not really using it to its full capability right now because of a slight issue. And then we got to hide the plugin. So that's what we're doing there. And we save it. I always save my work as I go. And then go back to plugins, install plugins. And then we're going to get ready to add another one. I think we're going to add WooCommerce. The reason I'm adding WooCommerce in this example is it's a plugin that has many upsells and upgrades, but it's something that you would consider if you wanted to run a store type of site. You know, sell T-shirts and merchandise and things like that, and you might even be able to sell digital products as well. It's a lot of options, and that's the one thing I like about WordPress is they give you a lot of options. And the world of plugins and themes is so huge that I just can't even wrap my head around it, you know? So you could set up the initial setup, but we're just going to leave it alone because I just want to demonstrate what we have as far as, so we go to stores, so turn on the lights and things like that. And also, folks, if you haven't already done so, be sure to click the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and click the notification bell. And also share the video too to help us with, you know what I mean? And this is cool because I don't really have to ask for money or donations or anything like that. But if you could do a little bit to help us out in this channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. You know, you mean the world to me. Um, So you could set it up to set all kinds of different payment options, PayPal, credit card, Google Pay, and such. And they take a little bit out for the payment, so you can set that all up in your site, and it's really cool. Um, and I'm gonna install this cookie consent thing. It's a plugin that gives you a cookie consent banner. So we're gonna um, I set that up. So I'm gonna install it, and after it's installed, it's gonna be the activate button appears and you're gonna activate it. So you can install a plugin and like not activate it and then it just be there with its files, not working on your site. Also, too, you wanna you want to keep the amount of plugins to a minimum because the more plugins that you have on your site, the slower it could run because all those plugins have to load for the different situations and things and for all the people that come up to your site. Um, and another thing too, like some plugins might not get along with whatever you got going on, and it might crash your site, and then you end up in a situation where you have to disable plugins to find out what's causing the problem. I've been there. I've done that. Um, so that's why I have like a test platform to run different tests and see how these different plugins interact with each other before I go on a live site and make those type of changes. And then you got to have your legal pages. They have plenty of legal page generators out there. Some of them have upsells. Well, most of them have upsells, but you could get yourself started for free. This is very important stuff to be in some sort of semblance of compliance with your website or your business. Very important. So we're going to activate that policy generator and see what we could do. All right. So I'm going to accept, and then we're going to get it to, you know, see what it says, see what that plugin says, and everything like that. All right. And I'm on a slow server, so slow VPS, so you have to bear with us here. um, so you don't. It doesn't really take this long to load on a normal setup, but what we are doing is we're waiting for this dashboard for the pages to come up, and the compliance platform. That's what we are. And there was a cookie consent and all that stuff. I've installed this thing on a number of sites. They want us to upgrade, so that means for me, it's time to look for another plugin that kind of does the same function. It's whatever. There's so many people doing plugins. It's not even crazy. It's just not. You could even create a plugin if you wanted to, if you put your mind to it. Make sure you guys click that like button. Really appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't subscribed. Click the notification bell so that you get all notifications for the channel, and share the video. Also, we might be doing a little something with Rumble too. Go to Tech Tinktronics for all on Rumble. Look into that. All right. So I deactivated that plugin because I don't really need it for this particular deal. And then I did the enable auto updates on all the active plugins so that while I'm sleeping at night, the plugins get updated. It'll tell you that such and such plugin is scheduled to get updated at such and such amount of days. It's very handy, very intuitive, very good benefit to have your plugins auto updated. And also, I caution you this: sometimes a plugin can be auto updated and it could brick your site, and you might have to go back in and figure out what happened to cause your site to brick or break. And then we're ready to customize the theme while we're here. So that's what we're doing. It's gonna take a second to load. I'm on a slow VPS. And then while we're waiting for that to load, make sure you click that like button if you haven't already done so. Very important, helps the algorithm of the channel. And be sure to share the video with a friend. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and make sure the notification bell is clicked so that you get notifications when we do something like upload a video or maybe go live. I don't know, you know. Um, so that's all very important and everything, and we really appreciate you here. Thank you very much, everybody. Right now we're just waiting like for this to load. I unfortunately chose a VPS that was kind of slow for this. Now look at this. We got an internal server error. I don't know what happened, but something happened with the theme that I'm customizing, and but we got back out of the error. Sometimes you're gonna run into situations that cause a 500 error, and you're gonna have to use your head to figure out how to kind of get out of it, undo what you did last to fix the error. Okay, so you got the settings for your cookies, and the site. Actually, I'm setting the site to go live just to kind of show what it should look like when you go and visit the site with the store. I didn't really. I could take that sample area where it says sample page and get a graphic up there for my store. That's one of the options you have there. But this is a general, kind of a skeleton of what you're dealing with as far as the theme is concerned. But you can customize it, and the key to customizing themes is doing the graphics yourself. Because a lot of times they'll give you the theme, but not the graphics that you see here. Um, then you could go into the site editor and different things like that, and you can make little changes here, save you work, and sort of things like that. I'm not going to get too much into that into this video. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to get into it at all, um, for the sake of time. But it's just a generalization of what you could do. So if you have WordPress and set up on your site and this, that, and the other, first things first, I recommend having a test site to set up to run your tests on to figure out what works with what and how you're going to certainly do stuff to make it, you know, make it problem free and error free and that sort of thing. Also, you could, there's different things that you could do with the designs. Sometimes some of the designers may, what you call it, they may block out certain things in order for you to have to upgrade and that sort of thing. So that's important. Because the design is a good chunk of what we need to do in order to get it work. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about setting up the email, right? And the email is important because um, having an email address with the domain name it gives you a professional domain-based email address, info@yourbusiness.com, on your website. It instantly builds credibility, boosts brand recognition, increases customer trust compared to generic providers. It enhances security, improves email deliverability, enables targeted communication. So it's really good to have that. So you can do sales support, this, that, and the other. So in your host, there should be an area for mail if that's included with your package. And then simply what you would do is once all your domain and your site and everything is set up, you would put in the external email address in case you get locked out of it or something like that. Then you would you would use that to reset your password, and then you choose a password. Try to choose a strong password, and then save it to your spreadsheet or cheat sheet so that you always have it. Because I can't remember a password for nothing. And then also and I don't use the email in the browser anyway. I use it on a different application like Thunderbird. All right, so that's pretty much it. Make sure that we are coughing up them likes, people. That's very important. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And thanks for watching this video. I hope you benefited from watching this production by the Tech Tinktronics YouTube channel. You can share the video, hit the like button below if you are able. I would greatly appreciate it. It'll help the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if not already done so. Hit the notification bell to get all the notifications from us. And also, check us out, Tech Tinktronics for All on Rumble. We're going to be pushing that Rumble thing a little bit too. And additionally, if you need some of these services done for you, you could go to prwdigital.us. That's me, a digital services company. And I'll provide a link to that via my techtinktronics.net site for you to go check it out. We got all kinds of services there, like video production, which you see here, website, which you saw earlier, and spreadsheets, forms, and everything you can imagine. So it's a nice menu of stuff there. And that's really it. Thanks for watching. In conclusion, I just want to add one more piece for service consulting, video, audio creation, editing, format conversions, website setup, spreadsheet builds, and other web business applications. Visit us at PRW Digital US for more information. I would appreciate that. And share, like, and subscribe. And then thank you for watching once again. Have a great day, and that will be all for us today. We're going to get up out of here. Bye-bye.
Yo, what's up? This is Dr. Dre.
What's up, y'all? This is Tupac, Machiavelli the Dawn.
Yo, it's Crack Flag. This is Big Snoop Deal Double G.
You're in the mix with the one and only. It's DJ 3T.